And it was on display clearly yesterday and today. And it is, being concerned about your country does not make you an extremist. If you attended a tea party, you were called, quote, steeped in insanity by the LA Times. You were called a nut job by the Washington Post. And your actions were seen as, quote, not really family viewing by CNN. Then you had the activists. Left-wing blogs like the Huffington Post and the Daily Kos not only mocked the Tea Party attendees as GOP plants, oh, you're all stooges. They also spoke publicly about infiltrating the event along with the groups like Acorn. They were adamant that us extremists would never be able to get together, but they were wrong. I haven't heard about a single report of violence. Have you? Imagine that kind of peace at a Code Pink protest with the lowball media estimate of 260,000 people. Or all that peace happening with the clowns at the G20 summit. Remember, we're anti-government, which the G20 people are anti-government. Meanwhile, the government says you may be an extremist if you, quote, feared, predicted, and anticipated the cataclysmic economic collapse in the United States. Okay, let's get this right. So we know that Alan Greenspan is fine because he never saw this one coming. But gosh, that would make me an extremist. You might also be an extremist, quote, if you incorporated aspects of impending economic collapse to intensify fear and paranoia among like-minded individuals. Guilty as charged, I guess. Oh, except it's not about intensifying panic. It's about preparation. It's something old-fashioned, I know. A few weeks ago, I did that whole War Room special about global economic collapse and what we do. We should think out of the box. It was endlessly mocked on shows like Colbert, but last month, unbeknownst to us, this is weird, right around the broadcast of our special, the Pentagon itself held a 2-day wargaming session on how our enemies might use the crisis to cripple us. And they didn't just use military brass. No. They plotted America's defense and, did some preparatory stuff with hedge fund managers and professors and executives from at least one investment bank. Gosh, that sounds like a show that we... Never mind. I'm sure Colbert will mock them as well. Let me get this straight. Bush and Obama put us on the hook for $12.8 trillion. But I'm the extremist. Lawmakers stuff $20 billion in pork and earmarks into spending bills that they don't even read. But I'm the extremist. We have to beg the Chinese to keep loaning us money, but I'm the extremist. The Supreme Court, Justice Ginsburg, and Harold Koh, he's one of the guys who's going to help run the State Department, they both talk about transnationalism. In the New York Times, by definition, a reduced role for the Constitution, but I'm the extremist. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in our founding fathers. I believe in the American people. I think you do too. Does that make us an extremist? Or does that just make us somebody who loves his country, loves the history of our country, and refuses to sit idly by as it's reshaped and redefined? More than 300,000 people stood shoulder to shoulder across the country yesterday to send a clear message to both parties. Our country is off on the wrong track. Look at the polls. People are still saying that, and they were saying it when Bush was in office. And no one in the government, left or right, Republican or Democrat, seems to be listening. And what was President Barack Obama's response? This is a statement, quote, the president is unaware of these tea parties, and he will hold his own event today. Well, that's fantastic. Let me see if I have this right. So, people feel disenfranchised. They feel like nobody in the government is listening. And then the government issues a statement that they're not only not listening, they don't even know that you exist. Oh, well, that sure makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. How about you? You know what? Here's the thing that we all need to pay attention to. The government is out of touch. It's really not you. It's them. We're not the extremists. They're just out of touch.